So you're interested in learning about wave makers. Well, why should you use a wave maker? What are some of the benefits? Are they better than bubblers? How long do they stay on for? What's the best place to put them in your tank? Well, you came to the right place. I've got answers to all your questions on wave makers, and if you're ready, let's go. What's up, guys? Welcome to KaveMan Aquatics. If it's your first time here, my name is Kev from KaveManAquatics.com. I put out brand new videos every single week related to the aquarium hobby. So if you're into aquariums and you want to learn more, make sure you subscribe to the channel and you won't miss any new content. So let's start off by talking about what a wave maker is, some of the benefits of a wave maker, and why you should have one. But if you're already familiar with a wave maker and you just want to get on to the application of putting it in your tank, then I'll have a timestamp down in the description below. Feel free to skip ahead. So a wave maker is basically just an underwater fan. It's going to push water away from it and it's going to pull water towards it. This will create a circular vortex inside your tank, helping to keep the water constantly moving. This is beneficial to keep waste and debris from getting stuck or trapped in any dead spots in your tank, helping to keep that detritus moving so that it can eventually find your filter intakes. Take a look here in my old tank. After leaving the wave maker off just one night, I just left it off overnight and then turning it on the next morning, you can see how much detritus is pulled up from the surface. This is exactly what you want. You want all that waste out of your tank and into your filter. If you have fish that like a good current, a wave maker helps in producing that strong flow of water. How can you tell if they like it? Well, if your fish are constantly swimming into the current, they like it. If they're stuck all the way on the other side of the tank, they're trying to get away from it. Do a little testing and experimenting with how much flow they like or don't like. African cichlids, like my guys, they love a good current. And a wave maker can help in reducing the aggression levels in your African cichlid tank. The wave maker's current will keep them active and busy by swimming around the flow instead of exerting all their energy chasing each other around. But some fish like goldfish or betas, they don't like any current at all. So make sure that you research your type of fish before installing wave makers. Another major benefit of a wave maker, if placed on top of your tank and angled upwards towards the surface, is the addition of surface agitation. The flow will create waves on your surface which will help in the transfer of oxygen into your tank, which is very important. These constant waves on your surface will oxygenate your tank water more efficiently than any scuba diver man with some bubbles. No judgment though, I've had that guy too. So what's the best spot to put a wave maker in your tank? Well, we already established that a wave maker on top, angled upwards, is super beneficial for surface agitation, but depending on which side you put it on is going to depend on where your filter intake strainers are in your tank. Whether you have an HOB or a canister filter, water is going to enter these filters through their intake strainer at the bottom of the tank. Even if you just had a sponge filter, your sponge filter sits at the bottom of the tank. So, since we have our wave maker on the top, then the best side to put your wave maker is going to be on the same side that your intake strainers are on. The reason is because as your wave maker is pushing water away from it at the top on your surface, it's also pulling water towards it coming from the bottom. As this water comes towards it from the bottom, your intake strainers are going to intercept that water along with all the debris and detritus that's coming with it, and it's going to get it right out of your tank. And if you have a sponge filter on that side, the sponge filter is also going to catch and trap all the detritus coming towards it. Makes sense, right? Leave me a comment if that makes sense. Now, if you have a tank on the bigger side, something as big as mine or even bigger, you might want to consider adding a second wave maker. This second wave maker is going to go on the opposite side as your first, but this time on the bottom. Adding a second wave maker is just going to help improve that circular pattern of water movement in your tank. If your fish can handle the current, 2 is better than 1. A common question that I get all the time is, how long do I leave the wave makers on? Should I vary the flow? Do you turn them off at night? Well, like I said, research your type of fish first and find out whether they like water with current and flow. If they do, like my African cichlids, then I can tell you what I do, but keep in mind that everyone's going to have their preferred method. So I'm just going to share with you what's been working for my guys. I keep my wave makers on 24/7, 365. And I only turn them off for feeding time just to make sure that no food gets sucked into the filters before the boys get a chance to eat it. And that only stays off for about a minute or two. I try to turn them on as soon as all the food is gone to avoid that leftover food residue from clouding up the water. The faster I turn the wave makers back on, the sooner the water can get nice and crystal clear again. I used to turn my wave makers off at night to give the boys a rest, but I noticed in the morning that it seemed like they were kind of wired. chasing each other around, swimming really fast back and forth. Maybe from the restlessness of the night before, I don't know. But since keeping it on 24/7, I'd come out at night and take a peek after dark, and I noticed that everyone would still be nice and calm even with the flow going. Also, the next morning, that calmness continued, and with the wave makers on all night long, this water was absolutely crystal clear. So for me and my guys, wave makers on 24/7. Play around and experiment with different flow rates in your tank and see what your guys enjoy best. And remember, everyone's gonna have their own preference. And if you'd like to see my 3 best tips on having crystal clear water just like this, then make sure you watch this video next right here. Or even better, download my free ebook that has many methods on how to eliminate that cloudy water problem and leave you with crystal clear clarity every time. See you on the next one.